goes. So happy Wednesday. Just wanted to check in, kind of see where we were, talk to you about a couple things. So in my unit two, one of the big things that we're talking about is keeping yourself safe online. And on Monday, we talked about the idea on the internet, no one knows you're a dog. And the idea is really behind the screen, behind a computer, where you only have your computer, your keyboard, your mouse to interface with the world. Well, everybody else does it as well, and they necessarily aren't who they say they are or pretend to be. I'm sure most of us are familiar with the TV show Catfish, which is busting people who are just like that. They make these personas, they go online, they engage in deception. Really being aware of who's on or who could be on the other side of that screen is a critical survival skill for working with the internet, working with technology. Now, I say that because one of the things that we're talking about this week is netiquette. Now, here's why netiquette is important. Remember that, so I've talked in the past about how amazing technology is, the fact that it can connect us across thousands of miles. The problem is most of us tend to just use email, and the big issue with email is you don't see the person. You can't hear the person. One of the reasons I go very heavy on videos is I want students to see me. I want students to hear me. I want them to, it's really kind of a humanizing activity. I want people to see the person kind of behind that text image that they get from emails, from text announcements. So you can see me, you can hear me, you can hear the tone of my voice. So I say all of that because when you type an email, none of that's there. It's just the words that you put down, the sentences that you create, the ideas that could be taken from those sentences. And that's a huge thing that we need to be aware of. I own it. The way that I write, I tend to be very focused, very direct, short, clipped sentences. And what I learned pretty early in my teaching career, students interpreted that in a hostile way. Likewise, if you're going into an emotionally charged situation to begin with, you've already got your defenses up. You're kind of, you're armed for bear. You're ready for a fight. You're ready for pushback. And I've had students contact me in the past about, things like grades and deadlines. And I've had to say, the deadline was this. You missed the deadline. I'm sorry. And I've had to learn to kind of soften that approach. So one of the things that I've done is I use the videos. And sometimes when I talk to students and it seems like things are getting a little heated, I'll tell students look, you've seen my videos every week. When you read this, I want you to kind of channel what you see coming through in the videos. Imagine that I'm reading this to you. Imagine that I'm saying this to you. If it looks harsh, it's not. Read it in my tone of voice. Read it with my body language. That's another thing that we can't see in text. You can't see the other person's body language. So that's a huge thing to keep in mind with netiquette. And, again, depending on where you are, depending on what you're typing, you can kind of loosen up a little bit. Sometimes I'm a little more comfortable now, but I remember the first time I ever put an emoji, I put a smiley in. I almost felt dirty. It's like, oh my God, I'm putting a smiley in an email to a student? What is this, romper room? So that smiley, though, was a code to the student that, I'm smiling. When I say this, I'm not coming at you harsh and angry. Not like, capital letters, all capital letters. People just see that and they're like, oh my God, this is just like rage fit. And again, that's something else that you need to keep in mind when you're dealing with textual communications and with regards to netiquette and email. So just a couple things, I kind of wanted you to keep in mind as we're going through this week. These are things that, again, people will perceive and they will react. Again, I've been teaching for 20 years and I've sent emails to students and they've completely not only misinterpreted the idea and intent, but because of the sentences, because of the short, kind of punchy structure, they think that I'm coming at them hostile and anything but. So that's one of the big things. We'll talk one more time on Friday. We'll kind of wrap everything up for the week. So, as always, folks, if you need me, I am here. Please email me. Beyond that, dig in. Oh, Teams, very quickly. I did promise you all that I would set a room up in Microsoft Teams, and I did that. I took the roster that I had on Sunday, late Sunday afternoon. So if you've just joined the class and you don't see it when you go into Teams, please let me know. I will put you in. The idea is I want students to have kind of a social presence. So, the way I was just talking to you about when you talk to people, when you send text messages, that emotions, they don't come through. Well, likewise, in an online environment, you really don't have like direct real-time interactions with students, kind of like a chat room or texting. So I want to use the Teams room as a way to kind of give you an opportunity and a space to really interact with each other and just, kind of talk back and forth and bond with each other. We're all in this together. I look in there. If you all have questions, I jump in. So that's all that it is. So please jump in, take advantage. Again, it's kind of a real-time virtual space and place where we can all interact. So please take advantage of it. Beyond that, I will see you all on Friday. Again, I'm always here if you need me. Have a good week.